Please help me, like this video and subscribe. I really appreciate your help. Girls, what are some signs that a guy is a keeper? He has goalie gloves. Scott Sterling has goalie gloves. He's the best keeper out there. I've mentioned this one before, but when I first started dating my his brother's bitchy girlfriend would leave her two ancient, crippled dogs with him when they would go out of town. These poor things were on their last legs, blind, so arthritic they couldn't even walk, and horribly incontinent. But my son never got upset or impatient with them. He would calmly clean up their poop and pee, carefully carry them outside, and set them in the grass to try to get them to go, quietly talking to them all the while, like, "Oh, did you have another accident? It's okay, let's clean it up. Here you go buddy, have some food," etc. I knew after witnessing that he was a total keeper. I think I knew when I stayed over for the first time, and when I woke up I saw he had plugged my cell phone into charge overnight. Plot twist, he went through your phone for so long while you were asleep that he had to cover it up by putting it on charge. My boyfriend always makes sure my laptop/iPad/watch are plugged in. It's the little things that make you realize he's a keeper. Guy here. Why? It's just coordination of squad operations for maximum tactical effectiveness. I'd expect this sort of relationship with any girlfriend or fellow soldier. We were about a year into our relationship when my dog passed away. I was of course devastated, and my boyfriend insisted on coming with me, even though he hadn't slept in about 30 hours. We got to my parents' house, it was raining and miserable. I wanted to bury her in the backyard, but with all the rain it was just impossible for me to do. He ended up in just his jeans and socks scooping the clay/mud mixture out by the handful. Shovel was pretty much useless. At one point my dad said something along the lines of, "You didn't sign up for this, did you?" And he responded with, "I signed up for anything in her life." Both I and my parents knew he was a keeper that day. It's been 6 years and happily going strong. If you can have a disagreement in a relationship and feel safe and secure during it, and closer at the end of it. I talked to an older couple recently who've been married for 50 years, and they said the key to a long and successful relationship is just to be nice to each other. That, and 20-second hugs every morning. I have a video on my laptop from my brother's wedding a couple years ago. The DJ did this thing for a dance where he asked all the married couples to get on the dance floor. My grandmother is in a wheelchair, but my grandfather was up and on the ball. It was their first dance since she lost one of her legs to gangrene. Anyway, the DJ quickly announced that any couples who have been married for less than 12 hours should leave the floor, then a few weeks, months, 1 year, and so on in increasingly long intervals of time. Gradually all the married couples took their seats until only my grandparents were left dancing. After the dance the DJ asked them how long they'd been married. 60 years, my grandfather replied. "What's your secret?" the DJ asked. To which my grandfather responded, "Non-communication." He was always pretty quiet, but I think that was his way of saying letting things go. He passed late last year. They've lived far away and moved even further last year, so it was the last night I think I saw them before he died. Really great memory. I'm not crying. You're crying. When you have a big argument, but it doesn't affect the things you normally do for each other. Note in lunchbox, this sandwich was made with somewhat less love than usual. I'm still a little mad, but I'm not a DK, and I know you need food to survive. I put my DK on the bread. Completely agree. My partner and I don't argue a lot, because we're usually able to talk things out before it gets to that point. But when it happens, doesn't matter how upset either of us are, we don't make each other suffer, or any kind of revenge. And if it happens, before he leaves for work, no matter how angry I am, I still can never let him leave the house without giving him a kiss and telling him I love him. Does something nice for you, and doesn't expect something nice/booty in return. Is that the difference between nice guys and rA/nice guys? The stereotypical nice guys are guys who can't handle rejection because of their low self-esteem, which I think is sad and needs to be looked at, but is unfortunately ignored or made fun of because of men's issues not being that important. And actual nice guys are guys who can handle rejection and don't expect a girl to like them just because they do something nice for them. They are nice because they are actually nice, and that's the way they are. Edit. While started a nice discussion. We must not ignore men's issues. We all humans have emotion and dealing with sadness at times, and that's okay. You're allowed to be upset about something. It's just how you react upon it that might be an issue. Please take care of yourselves. Mental health is very important. He has a hat with a mesh face cover and an abundant supply of honey. Oh god, I read the goalie gloves one and thought she must really like goalies until this post. Keepers. My so and I had a really rough day in the beginning of our relationship. It was really hard on us both. At the end of the day he held me very tightly and said with obvious relief that he was just glad I was okay. That was the day I realized I really did love him. I'd been thinking I did, but wasn't sure about the long-term version of it. So I'd say, when your partner shows that your well-being matters to them beyond what that does for them. My husband fought for us to get the house he knew I would choose, even though I was too busy with other things and stressed to join in the search. Our parents all live close and fill us in real estate, so they all wanted to give opinions. But he set his foot down and was not swayed, even when I was doubting myself. Now we live in a fabulously old house with quirks I love, and it just fits us perfectly. I say this within reason. Of course there are probably a dozen exceptions or exaggerations to this that wouldn't apply. But if he would rather be honest with you and risk upsetting you than lie to you, someone who is willing to tell the truth, even if it means a bad outcome for them, is a special kind of person. It's easy to keep someone happy with lies. What are some exceptions that you can think of? With a lot of these kinds of statements you always get people trying to play an exaggerated devil's advocate with extreme statements like, oh, so you're saying, if my boyfriend thinks I'm an ugly whore he should just tell me? I can't believe you're encouraging verbal abuse. You know, or someone bringing up an incredibly uncommon personal experience and then acting like you're either agreeing with it or condemning it because you made a generalized statement regarding a situation that wouldn't reasonably apply. I guess I've just become wary about posting any generalized idea on Reddit, even if it's positive, because of situations I've been in before where someone just wants to make the world pay for how unhappy they are by attacking strangers online, or something like that. Reverse this. I'm a guy and wound up in hospital with a broken foot and screaming in pain. Girlfriend drove me and I heard the doctor tell her you can go home now. There is no need to be here. Her reply was my boyfriend broke his foot and is in pain. Where else would I fking rather be? Knew right then and there that this was the girl. No, no, no. You're doing it wrong. You gotta wait for the guys. What are some signs that a girl is a keeper? Thread that'll be posted in a few hours. When you are going through something rough and he listens and comforts you without judgment. When you can feel how much he cares and hurts to see you hurt. Till I'm not a keeper. When he pulls the covers over you and kisses your cheek when he thinks you're asleep. There is no need to pull the covers over your GF. I think you'll find she has already dragged them with impossible strength and vice-like grip into a tightly wound cocoon of soft fluffy duvet, leaving you stranded in the cold like a naked man in the snow, gazing into a well-lit family home with blazing hearth and hearty meal for all who dwell within and none for those without. He surrounds himself with good people, helps others without expecting anything in return, and is your friend as well as your partner. This is a real answer. Friend as well as partner, especially. He sends you pictures of cute dogs when you're having a bad day. Those last 6 words were unnecessary. I feel embarrassed that I had to count the last 6 words. He does things just because, without an ulterior motive. When my then boyfriend, now husband, woke up early to bring me breakfast, I said, "What's the occasion?" And he said, "No occasion." Just because. I knew he was a keeper. Every once in a while he still does things like drop by my work with flowers, vacuum the carpets, draw me a warm bath, just because. Glad I kept him. I had a girlfriend I often surprised with little stuff like that, and eventually their charms wore off, and she just began expecting more from me. Needless to say, that relationship didn't survive. This one is all too familiar. My ex was a huge Springsteen fan, so I surprised her with a pair of tickets and organized the whole trip. She loved the concert and thanked me for it, of course, but a couple of days go by and she wants to go on a walk and I tell her I don't really feel like it cause him too tired. Her answer, "You are so lazy, you never do anything I want." I knew it right there and then it would never be enough. Let me preface this by saying, that this is a very specific experience, and also that I have no idea what's wrong with my dad. But we love him anyway. My dad is way into quadcopters, but in a really specifically boring way. He's got a YouTube channel of him testing different copters, software, lenses, filters, etc. Anyway, the first time my boyfriend met my parents, my dad wanted to show him his drone videos. I left the room to take a call and came back to my boyfriend 24 minutes deep into an aerial video of a frisbee golf course, watching intently. I have no explanation for you. It's literally a 36-minute long video of a frisbee golf course. He went hole by hole, zooming in and out, testing settings, mostly. Around minute 2, before it left, my dad had briefly mentioned he used his anti-glare filter / lens whatever in this video. Back to my so at minute 24. The drone flies over a pond in the frisbee golf course, then pans up to catch the reflection of the sun on the water. My so says, and I quote, "BC, I'll never forget, wow, that anti-glare filter allowed just enough light to glint off the water without washing the picture out." My dad, beaming from ear to ear. I know, right? He watched all goddamn 36 minutes of that video. One of the weirdest, most endearing interactions I've ever witnessed in my life. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments below the video write, "Girls, what are some signs that a guy is a keeper?" And also do not forget to watch our other videos. Bye.